Well, I guess that means that I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues. So, what issues do we have this week? We have Aquaman issues.
Right.
Aquaman, the relaunch of Aquaman for the New 52, written by Jeff Johns. And what's cool about that is out of our Flashpoint issue, this would have been one of the comics that came out of Flashpoint, technically. Because the New 52 got launched from Flashpoint.
Yay.
So that's kind of why it seems like an origin-ish, easy entry point. That's what I would call it. Yeah. Easy entry point.
Yes.
But before that, we're going to talk about our love of fish sticks, tartar sauce, and
Doctor Who.
Man.
What?
Yeah.
Was that connected?
Fish sticks and custard.
Oh, yeah.
I have never watched a single episode of Doctor Who.
How dare you? He loves fish stick and custard.
As in like sweet custard?
Yeah.
So he regenerated into a new doctor, and he was trying to figure out what he likes and doesn't like, and it turns out he really liked fish sticks and custard.
Together.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Is it like a dipping sauce?
Yeah, custard as a dipping sauce for fish sticks.
I don't even know if I think they were frozen fish sticks even.
They may have been.
Like just pulled them
like straight out of the freezer.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I like those frozen fillets that you can
those are pretty
bake and stuff. Those aren't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you air fry them.
Oh, yeah. That's the way to do it.
Air fryers are like the secret to happiness in life because they get stuff so much more crispier and like better than if you just stick it in an oven. Because if you put some stuff in the oven, it just kind of it heats it up, but it gets a little soggy. But like the way the air fryer works, gets all of it nice and crispy.
Yeah, we use our air fryer a lot. That and our Instapot.
I bought an air fryer for my brother.
Nice.
For Christmas.
I love it.
You're welcome, brother.
Yes.
You're welcome, brother.
Brother.
Instant pots are great.
You know, they went out of business.
I did not know that.
Yep. Instapot, the brand.
Go Crock-Pot.
Closed. Done.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I know they had at least... Well, the problem is they're really just easy-to-use pressure cookers. That's what they are.
I know.
It's an easy-to-use pressure cooker. But I'm sure there's still been people who were like injured or something, and it probably ended up being a thing. I don't know. And once enough people get them, it's not like they break very often, to be honest. Like, they last a long time.
Sure.
So you're not necessarily having to, like, sell replacements and things. I don't know. I saw an article a couple weeks ago that said, like, Instapot files for bankruptcy or something like that.
Well, I'm sure somebody will buy the name and
I would imagine.
keep it going. Yeah.
It's a good product. Like I said, our Instapot and air fryer, you can do so much with that stuff.
Yep.
And then if you still need to use the stove and the oven or whatever, you can have all kinds of stuff going at once.
So I just Googled it. Why did Instant Pot go out of business? They say the company has faced macro challenges, putting the blame on overall economic conditions. They say the end of the pandemic slashed demand for their products, but I have a simpler theory. Everyone who wanted an Instant Pot already had one.
That's what I just said.
It is.
Once everybody buys one, they last. It's not a kitchen utility item that seems like it fails, or I mean, it seems like it lasts a long time.
Yeah,
and so,
sure.
I mean, they're not going to last like your grandma's pressure cooker. Those things lasted for decades.
Right. I think what happened was the demand spiked, and then
everybody was at home.
They couldn't bring back the cost of everything as it fell down. So
probably,
that's probably what happened. Because it's not like people get older and then move out and then they want their own Instant Pot. The demand was probably still there, but not nearly as much as it was during the pandemic.
And parts for electronics did go up.
Yeah.
So it was probably more expensive for them to make them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I
can see that.
They could have, had they made better decisions, they probably would still be in business, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what those macro challenges were that they...
I think I probably just explained it.
Oh, he doesn't listen when you talk, just like you don't
I
listen
know.
when he talks.
I know.
I'm really just translating for the two of you all the time. I'm just looking at you relaying information that was already said from the other person.
Right.
That's
and I don't know why people listen to this podcast.
Because since neither of you listen, they want to listen. They want to hear and see if they
It's
can
funny.
piece it together.
I clicked on the article and it called everybody fellow potheads.
That's great.
But I do enjoy mine a lot. I want to share, since you shared a weird Doctor Who food combo, we
Sure.
should try that sometime.
I've always kind of wanted to, but I don't want to eat them frozen.
No. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you,
Patrick.
Pat.
So I think that trying things sometimes pays off and sometimes it doesn't, right? Weird food combos. I'm a weird food combo kind of guy.
Oh yeah, this fusions is what they call it now. It's such a fad that
I've been doing it since I was like a child.
right.
But here's one for all of you out there who are willing to try something that's a little different.
I'm Will.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you're willing.
Are you Asian?
mean-
willing?
I am.
You're Will. Okay.
Had to
So,
oust me like that.
oh, I'm going to have to cut that. We said that he's related different.
Yeah, we've also said his full name on the podcast before.
It's
Well,
because
I mean,
he
not
has
the
a good
full name.
Well,
No.
that's true. We did leave his middle name
He
out.
is the only one that I think we've said more than once. His name. There's something about your name that just wants to be spoken.
Yes, everyone actually does that at work. What's weird is my email at work is the only one that has my first and last name.
Well,
and whenever
how are,
anyone-
How are the rest of them?
It's just first name. And then when everyone calls me on the radio,
So is there another Will?
no, I'm the only Will.
That doesn't
There's
make
about
any
eight.
sense.
There's about 8 Johns. But whenever anyone calls me on the radio,
And they're always occupied.
white, porcelain, what? But people call me on the radio by my first and last name. Everybody else just gets their first
Do people there call you Will or Cody?
Will.
Because I know you go by both.
Yeah.
But really not,
it's just
not
easier.
anymore.
Easier just to go
There's
by
just
the
one very specific group of people now anymore.
I know how close you are to me based on what names you call me.
Oh, I got to switch then.
So if we call you the Disruptor, what
I
is
know
that
we are
name?
the best of friends. And we're on the same podcast together.
That's really the defining
It
factor.
really is.
I've eaten tacos at your house, and
And spaghetti.
I was. I'm gonna have to edit this, aren't I? I almost said I've been to your house.
Not yet. That's later.
That's bad.
I mean, we did sneak in here one day. We were kind of hungry.
this is
driving
getting
by.
weird. I don't like this.
We drove in.
Sure.
Anyway, Aquaman was really good.
I find
Wait,
I find it funny that we are talking about fish sticks. We've never.
it's about Aquaman.
And it's about aqua. We've never.
I just yelled in the mic. I spiked so hard.
We have never talked about
like
fish
crap.
sticks before until we get to an Aquaman episode.
And we were talking just fine out there. We getting here.
It was
We
just.
got fish brain.
You got fish on the brain. We're all waterlogged in here. So anyway, I have a fusion for people to try. I am going to finish this fish tick
Do it.
statement. I have a weird fish tick combo that I love. Absolutely love it. I know a few other people who've tried it and also like it. I've had a couple people tell me that while they didn't think it was bad, it just isn't for them. But I was at a fish fry once when I was really young. My dad took me because in our area, certain times of the year, it's like every weekend somebody's doing a fish fry, right? And they like the tartar sauce and all this stuff like wasn't near us, or it was like I couldn't get it, and I was young, but I did. They had coleslaw and they had applesauce and all your normal like fish fry, all you can eat fish fry goods, right?
Sure.
And I just took some applesauce and use that as my dipping sauce. I used applesauce, which makes sense because fish it's a white meat. White meat pairs well with fruits a lot of times, like apple and mango and peach and stuff like that. And I'm going to tell you what, I love fish fillets with applesauce. So good.
So we need to
That
get
It's
some.
so good.
Really weird.
So we need to get some custard and applesauce and fish sticks.
And figure out what is the. This is the question we will answer by the next podcast issue we do. What is best with fish sticks? Applesauce, custard, tartar sauce? What sauce is the best sauce?
Frank's, Texas Pete's.
Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah, like fish is really good with hot sauce.
It is
Anyway.
really good.
So, Will, do you have any
I got a
strange
board-
food combination?
Oh,
No.
he was going to tell something
I
real.
thought he's-
I
no.
do want him to share this,
yeah,
but
yeah. But
Do you
like,
have a weird food combo?
combination? I have never tried it, but I have heard of one. I've
that
heard
you want to try.
I don't want to try it ever.
Have you ever had a Twinkie hot dog with Cheese Whiz?
No, that is just odd.
You know about that,
I
right?
know about
I've
that.
seen the
I
pictures.
had it. Anyway,
I've seen the pictures of people that take different colored Starbursts and make hot dogs out of them. Like they take the red and they like smush it down and twist it into the actual hot dog.
Okay.
The yellow one, they make it into a bun, and then
Do
like,
you know how many Starbursts that would take?
oh man,
it depends on how big it is.
So are you saying that that's what you have seen? That's what you're
That's-
saying? That's
I
not
saw
a
a
fusion.
picture.
That's not a real
I-
hot dog.
It is just a random thing that popped inside my brain that I thought I would share.
Okay, so I have
But
one.
the fusion I have heard of that my
Okay.
dad tells
Sure.
me is really good.
Uh-huh.
My aunts say that it's very good too.
Yeah.
Is green Jello and cottage cheese.
I could see that. Dude, no, that's like from the 1950s.
Yeah.
It
You
is
would
so
literally do like
weird.
Jello molds with cottage cheese
Sure.
in them. That was like a
I'd
thing
try
that you
that.
took to parties.
That is absolutely disgusting.
I would eat it.
I
I
would.
I know how much I like both of those things. I would definitely eat that.
I like green Jello. I like
I love cottage cheese.
cottage cheese. I've eaten a lot of it. I've eaten so much it came out the way it looked going in.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Why did that need to be shared?
I
Because
didn't need
it
to know
is.
that, Will.
Now you know what happens if you eat too much cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And there was one more John involved that day.
Oh yeah.
So, I have one that most people who hear about it think it would be absolutely disgusting, but I really enjoy it.
Okay.
It is peanut butter and
Use your
mustard.
toaster.
Don't tell me what to do.
Peanut butter and mustard with bologna.
Oh, I could totally see that.
Most
That
people
sounds disgusting.
see.
People,
That's most people's reaction
people
to it.
love peanut butter on burgers. Why not bologna?
Yeah, it's.
Do you
really
mean
good.
like thick cut cooked bologna, or do you mean like Oscar Mayer?
I mean, either one.
Okay. You're talking to, do you remember? I mean, you're talking to a dude that literally just eats mustard. Okay.
No. I thought you might be okay with it. I thought Will would not, and that
Oh,
is
Will
exactly
is-
what happened.
I
Will
eat
is not
mustard
okay.
out of the jar. I eat peanut butter out of the jar.
Yeah.
And I eat lunch meat straight out of the pack.
There you go.
I basically already do what you say, just never tried it all together.
Give it a try and let me know what you
What if
think.
we tried it on the podcast?
What if
with
we
that.
do an issue? What we'll do is we'll find some comic that's food related. We need to read that manga that's the food one.
There's I can't
and
remember
then
what it's called now.
we'll try weird stuff.
There's probably a bunch of different mangas that are food
We
related.
probably would need to record it like with a camera though to see all of our
Ooh
faces.
no.
Anyway,
Why?
I've
Why?
made this joke before. My dad says I have a face for radio.
I know, but your facial expression biting into a peanut butter mustard bologna sandwich.
that's so good.
I love that I could look at either of you and see a 100% difference in facial expressions in that moment
Even though now I'm excited because we're back to sandwiches.
from the last issue. Dang it. Anyway,
So, no, hold on.
do you have another one?
My most no, this is not controversial, but my most
This is not
My-
we are being very controversial right now.
Yeah.
my favorite burger is one with peanut butter and an egg on it.
Oh,
Oh,
I've had that.
yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
that.
So good.
I'm not a huge fan of eggs on my burger.
I am.
I know.
How
a
does
lot
it
of
feel to be
people that are.
wrong?
Here's the problem. The few times I've had it, the burger has been lackluster. And like the thing is like eggs, I love eggs. I could eat them every day. But when you do your burger, it's got to be a certain way to make sure that it's flavorful.
I mean, the one at Hunter's Hideaway is pretty good.
It is.
They do a peanut butter and egg one.
They don't do one with peanut butter, but I think it's called the Nagano.
Okay,
It's got
And it
it's
has
got an
eggs.
egg on it.
interesting. I know that Matt Anthony's has one.
We need to go
And
back
that
to
one was
Hunter's at some
okay.
point.
Yeah, for sure.
I said Hunter's, and Pat's eyebrows raised up like, ooh.
Ooh, I wonder if they have bologna.
Man, smoked bologna with peanut butter and
Dude.
mustard.
My dad used to
So
eat
good.
cut grilled.
Heck, throw an
bologna.
egg on there, probably even better.
Oh, you should
Oh,
try that.
man.
Don't worry, I
Eggs.
have. It's good.
Oh, geez. I mean, okay, I got a couple more. Here's another weird food combo for you. This is fun. This is a good discussion. Here's a deep personal TMI. My ex-fiance's family did a weird food combo that I didn't want to try, and I gave it a shot, and it was super good. And now I do it at home. Nobody else does. But when I now have biscuits and gravy, I love to open up a can of stewed tomatoes and put stewed tomatoes on my biscuits and gravy.
I think I've heard of that, actually.
I feel like you've told me about this, actually.
But people do make tomato gravy. Like, that's a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Right.
And I've tried it, and it's not. I prefer the sausage gravy with tomato with it, like that, like on it. I do not enjoy the tomato gravy as much. But there are certain regions of the United States where tomato gravy is very popular.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I thought it was okay the one or two times I made it. Like,
You
it
ever-
wasn't bad.
Have you guys ever had chocolate pudding and biscuits?
Maybe?
No,
I think I've
but
had-
yeah,
no?
that sounds fine.
Yeah.
would
I
eat
mean,
that.
in
You're
some areas,
it's a baked good with chocolate.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay.
no, my mom makes them. They're super good.
Anything your
And,
mom makes is super good.
You got that right. Thanks, Mom. And,
yeah, thanks, nerd mom.
Is that what we're calling her?
No, that's what I mean. That's what I call her. She calls me her nerd son.
He's on our family group chat.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So
she's a great lady.
one of these days, she will be our pie sponsor. And then this will go from a podcast to a piecast.
Podcast.
Yeah, but
I mean, I wouldn't be averse to a pie sponsor.
I will 100%
If you
watch that
make-
movie.
If you make
technically,
pies,
she would only
for
have to
pie.
make a pie every 2 weeks. She could easily.
Yeah,
do
Mom,
that.
that's really reasonable to do. Like a pie
The problem
every
we need
2
to get this
weeks,
in. We need to get this in front of her way before this airs.
right?
We'll have to message her after the recording.
That's only 26
I will message
pies
her
a
during the
year.
recording.
Right now, he's like, I'm gonna tell her.
Did you hear me?
24 pies a year.
26.
26 pies.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
52 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
It's only
Yeah,
26
she
pies
went-
a year.
And if I got her the materials, if I got her the
Materials.
ingredients for it,
I mean,
same
they are
thing.
the materials. It's the same thing. But
Like,
yeah,
it would be.
But is that if you have to pay for it? Are you being sponsored?
I mean, I could have all the same ingredients / materials in front of me and not make the same quality and deliciousness.
I
of
know.
Pie.
My
So
point
really,
was
her
the fact that
sponsorship is
is the act. Is she's giving of her time and her skills.
yes.
Ah, I see. That works for me. That's fine. So, any other? Do you have any other weird food fusions you want to share? Any other that
No, I just know the peanut butter mustard. bologna
that's like a
thing.
thing that you
People are-
love?
I
I do like
enjoy
peanut
it.
butter and pickle, but that isn't a weird. Like lots of people
No,
like
that's
Yeah,
not
lots
that.
of
that
people
weird.
like
But
that.
I like to toast my bread first. I like it like
yeah, me too.
toast, and then it's a little crunchy.
Right.
Oh,
I need to
pickles
get a
on a
toaster
grilled
at some
cheese
point.
sandwich.
No, I got something better. It kind of branches into the Monte Cristo category. Grilled cheese, you put some preserves on it. I'm telling you right now, either blackberry, strawberry, you make a really good, big, rich grilled cheese, and then put some of that strawberry preserve, some of that jam on it. Ha! It's just like a Monte Cristo sandwich.
It does sound good.
It is so good.
Right?
Again,
I mean-
a family that I was very close with, still am, but life has, our schedules have drawn us apart more. I was at a family gathering. They had invited us over, and they made like grilled cheese and stuff, and they had got jams out. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And it was way before I ever had a Monte Cristo, and so they were like, "Well, we put jam on our on our grilled cheese, and I was like, that is crazy. And they're like, try it. And I did, and I was like, that is so good.
Yeah. So I did text her. I was like, hey, Mom, do you want to be the official pie sponsor of the podcast? We'll see what she says.
Sponsor for the pod.
One of her favorite stories to tell is, you remember that time for Phil's birthday, our buddy Phil?
Oh,
we were at Matt Anthony's, and we were debating on whose mom made better apple pie. And so I'm like...
And you and I were both like, Will's mom.
Yeah. I'm like, so I immediately text her. I'm like, I need an apple pie. So I think she was busy that weekend. So by the next weekend, I had one. And so I went, drove to her house, got it, and then had to drive another hour almost to Phil's house. We sat in his living room.
Yep.
And I think we watched a movie and ate apple pie.
And he admitted
That
it was like the best apple pie he had ever had.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
No, she is a master
If anyone wants
pie
to see
creator.
her creations, she does have an Instagram where she does
plug her.
post. She is Pies of the Crustibian.
That's cool.
Crustibian, whatever.
Pies of the Crustabean.
Yes, on Instagram.
Yeah, check out her baking. It's amazing.
Oh man, she also makes this ding dong cake. So you know, like the little like ding dongs you can get in the package. She makes like a giant one.
Nice.
Yeah, she did when she birthed you.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I made
Giant ding dong.
I made the biggest ding dong this world's ever gonna know.
Before we move on to
Yeah.
more important matters,
Oh, she said she'd do it. We have
a pie sponsor.
news to announce. We have our very first pie sponsor. If you would like to compete,
we are
we are
open.
taking submissions.
That's amazing.
That is pretty
That
good.
is amazing. If any of you would like to submit a pie related application, send it to longbox at guyswithissues.com.
Don't send the pie there. But
Yeah.
It keeps getting returned. It doesn't fit in the drive.
Just give the pie to Will. That's all you need to do.
yes.
Yeah, right to his face.
I would like that. I've never
He's
taken
like-
a pie to the face.
No, just to your pie hole.
Yep.
So, I know
a
that.
lot of pie to my pie hole.
Dude, that's why it's dubbed the pie hole. It's the only hole you should be adding pie into.
That's right.
If you're adding it anywhere else, you might need to see a therapist.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Listen, we're having fun. That's what's going on.
Yeah, last time it was sandwiches, and now it's
Pie.
pies and weird fusions
Okay.
of food. Wow.
There you go. If you have an interesting or weird food combination that you want to share with us, email us at longbox@guyswithissues.com. Tell us your favorite weird food combinations or one we should try. What do you think that we need to try? Or if you tried one of the ones we mentioned, let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We would love to hear about that.
we would,
We love talking about food, obviously.
obviously.
This is the
done it
new
2 times in a
baloney
row.
set. We used to call this segment random baloney and things like that, right?
Right.
Now it literally
And now
is.
we literally talked about baloney.
Truly.
And as Will already pointed out, today is Aquaman. We've knocked the fish sticks into place.
Oh, yes.
And now we're going to be talking about a man who talks with fish? What?
He doesn't talk necessarily.
So, is that the changing of the wind? Is the wind shifting?
The currents.
The
shifting.
currents.
Uh,
I am so full of bad things this time.
what?
I've said so many dumb things.
That's my
I mean-
life, man.
Yeah, I know.
I
you
always
work
say
with
dumb
me.
things.
You have. I thought you were saying you have to listen to
No.
me say dumb things.
No, not at all.
That's my life. I listen to you say dumb things every day.
I always say dumb things. And then I get
I mean,
looks.
we all do.
And people are like, really?
I don't agree with them when they look at you like that.
Okay.
I mean, probably sometimes.
no, sometimes I 100% deserve it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure last time Chris sat there is like, what is going on right now?
I know, right?
What is happening to this podcast? As we sat there and made dumb remarks. Anyway, am I doing my thing?
Yep.
Am I supposed to?
do your synopsis?
My
synopsis.
Would you like to
Okay.
do a synopsis?
I think I will. I think I'll dabble.
I'll dabble.
I love that you do that every time.
This is new cue.
Arthur Curry, otherwise known as Aquaman, has relinquished the throne to Atlantis and now lives on land with Mera as they try to start a new life together. But the troubles of the ocean have plans of their own when mysterious and gruesome creatures surface from the bottom trenches of the ocean and attack a small seaside town. Aquaman and Mera have no other choice but to face this new threat. Will they succeed against the Horde, or are the inhabitants of the town doomed? I mean, it's only Aquaman after all.
That was so good. That was such a good ending. It's okay, Aquaman. We can handle this. You can leave.
I forgot everybody keeps making fun of Aquaman.
When you wrote that?
No, like before before I read, because they're all making fun of him. I'm like, oh yeah, I think back in like the Justice League Unlimited days, they'd make fun of him like, oh, it's just Aquaman, you know.
So
he'd be the butt of all the jokes and stuff.
Something that's really cool is Jeff Johns when he wrote. So Jeff Johns is the one that did a really good run on the Flash. He also did Flash Rebirth. He's the one that did Flashpoint. He wrote the Green Lantern series that I'm always hyping up. And he, I believe, is like DC's creative director or something now.
No idea. Don't
I have to
at me
look
like
it up.
that.
At some point, he kind of quit
look it
writing as often, and he took a role where he's kind of like the overseer for all of the big DC stuff.
That's
I don't know if
cool.
he's still doing that, but I know that he was, because he gets the history of DC Comics and he gets the characters, and so kind of like how they have Kevin Feige for the Marvel movies and things like Jeff Johns was this kind of overarching story guy for DC after he became so successful with the stories he would tell. But Will, do you see something?
No.
Or
I mean, Jeff Johns is a former president and chief creative officer for DC.
that's what it was. I said I wasn't sure if he still did it, but he was like a big position there.
He's co-founder and former co-chairman of DC Films and former co-runner of DC Extended Universe until 2018.
I wonder what he's doing now then. Interesting.
What is Jeff Johns doing
Jeez.
right now?
Will is our Google, is our man in the chair.
Zoom, enhance.
Enhance.
Get that satellite
But
footage so we
like
can see what he's doing right now.
Like I said right now, you said right now, and my brain just went, right now, yeah. Like I said earlier, this was a good, I felt like it was a good jumping in point.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
was pretty accessible compared to something like last week's Guardians, where we were like, yeah, we didn't know a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, so as we do, as one does, did you like it?
Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The art was particularly good. I really like that.
The
Yeah,
art
and that was Ivan Reese.
fantastic.
Ivan Reese? Okay. So here's something. If you liked that, he does the new 52 Green Lantern section too. So when we read the big epic Green Lantern arc, he is one of the artists in Green Lantern.
Oh, cool. You mean the one that's going to take us the rest of our lives to read, or
Stop.
it's a different?
No, it won't take that long. Okay.
Just half our lives.
Why do you guys want to read it?
Half-Life?
You're making it sound like it's a negative thing.
No,
Yeah,
I just want to
of
make
course.
sure I'm understanding what it is we're supposed to be reading. Is it a shorter version? Is it a life goal?
No,
Or
it won't. Even if we only read so many a week for this podcast, you'd have it done in like a year.
oh wait, what's a year, Pat?
That's about 365 days.
I'm glad you did.
So
that.
it could take you the rest of your life, but I hope that isn't the case.
Yeah.
I would prefer that's not the case.
Anyway.
So,
that's enough
but
of
you
my
guys
problems.
liked it, huh?
Yes.
You liked it. Pat, what'd you think? What were your overall thoughts?
I liked it.
The reason we laughed is he had pushed the mic away and was reaching for the book, and so he just whacked it back towards him to do that. It was pretty funny.
No, I like the fact that everybody was picking on Aquaman because they don't really know what he can do, and And you just know by the end of this, everybody's going to love Aquaman.
Yeah.
Or they should.
No,
should.
they will. Because he is great.
I mean, I think Jason Momoa has done a really good job at making Aquaman a very popular character, but I had forgotten that he was the butt of the joke for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Even though
comedians
he's
and
like
everything
he's a
else
cool hero,
made
but
fun of him.
for whatever reason, he's just, what
He
everybody
is.
made fun of.
You know, I had forgotten what it was like to read this because I read it like way back. So when I first, again, those yonder days, right, when the New 52 had first kicked off, and I made my way into Chimps and to pick up some Batman. I had read because I really started getting like Batman and Ninja Turtles, and but I ended up buying a lot of stuff back then. But there were articles that I would be reading where they would go over the new comic releases for the week. Like back then, before IGN became a total trash heap of a website,
Amen
they
to that.
dude,
Are they?
there was a
the
time
worst.
where IGN was actually a pretty decent like nerd and pop culture website.
Yeah.
And they each Wednesday they would have a comic release review list. So they would have like all the comics from DC and Marvel primarily, and then they would hit some of the like independents, some of the big Image stuff like Walking Dead and Saga and things like that. I actually first heard of Saga because they talked about it on IGN's weekly rundown of comics.
Oh, that's nice.
But they would review the issue. They were like, how was this week's issue of Aquaman? Like, because, you get one a month on rotation. And they were talking about the New 52 because it had just started up. And they were like, man, what Jeff Johns has done with Aquaman. I remembered reading about this for the first issue. And they're like, Aquaman's always been kind of the butt of the joke and looked at as like, it's rarely somebody's favorite hero. And they were like, what Jeff Johns does, you start out, you see him stop an armored car robbery by
you do.
flipping the truck with his trident, like straight up like into the grill, lifting an armored car
lifting the
off
armored
the
car
ground
up.
and flipping it, and then gets shot in the face and like just ends it, right? Like just throws the dudes, it's over.
Yeah.
And then the cops are like, oh, we could have handled it, Aquaman. How are you even off the water? Are you like a fish? You're going to die, aren't you? And then he goes to get fish. He goes and orders fish at a restaurant. And they're like, isn't that like cannibal? Like, that's like eating your friends. What's wrong with you? Don't you talk to them? And he's like, I don't talk to them. I force my will upon them so they do what I tell them to. And he's like, but except for dolphins. He's like, they're weird. and so, which is also like a joke because I think back in Super Friends, he had like a partner that was a dolphin or something like that. He had like a cartoon dolphin at one point, I'm pretty sure. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Email us and tell me that I'm totally wrong. That's cool. But anyway, but they were praising this because they're like, hey, Jeff Johns makes Aquaman a cool hero. Single issue, you feel the plight of being the butt of the jokes, and you see how bad to the bone he is.
Yeah.
And that's true, man.
It's
Even
true.
rereading it, I was like, oh, I remember how much I loved this.
Yeah.
They make fun of his outfit, like, oh, you're not wearing the orange shirt, so I almost
when
didn't
that
recognize
cop
you.
comes to his house.
He's like, it's armor.
He's like, it's scale armor. Which, by the way, in the one scene, when he gets bitten by the trench, the trench are the evil fish monsters that come out of the ocean, which are super scary, by the way.
Right.
Did you guys watch
So-
the movie?
Yeah.
Did
Nope.
you? You haven't seen the movie. Maybe that's what we should watch.
Yeah, we can watch that.
Because we read it, and
Yeah.
he hasn't seen the movie.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The trench are in the movie.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
They are.
they
swarm
are.
that boat, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why when I watched the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, they have the trench. I was super excited. But no, like the one trench like bites his shoulder.
Yep.
Not the big one. But like when he's fighting, you can see them bite. And in one scene, you can see like their teeth break. But then that big one bites him and he just goes straight through it, right? But he was like the big dog. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
The big trench.
The big trench fish. He was the big dog fish.
Yeah.
He was carpy.
He was not a catfish. He was a dogfish.
But he had whiskers like a catfish, actually.
Right.
So you liked it. You liked it overall.
Yeah, definitely. Probably going to add it to the list of things we might want to
Keep reading.
Keep reading.
Okay, I'm going to tell
That's
you right
good,
now.
because I have a few of them.
The next,
A few.
I'm just going to knock this out right now. The next story arc is okay. It's not as good as the first. It's not bad, but but the third story arc, because I read like half of the series. I think there's like 50 some issues, and I think I ended in the 20s.
Maybe 52.
Because a lot of the new 52 did have exactly 52 issues, but some of them vary, but a lot of them do have 52. So you could be right. You could be spot on.
Yes.
But
I could be Spot.
oh, but the third, stop it. They just gave each other an air fist bump. The third story arc is so good, and it's actually been made into a DC animated movie, and it's one of the main plots to the movie.
Well, now I'm going to have to watch that movie.
Yeah.
The animated DC one.
It's basically the plot of the movie, though. Like,
oh, is it?
The movie takes the third story arc in this and basically does it live action, and then that animated one also does it.
That's awesome.
But it's because it's so good. Oh. When it's done right, it is real. The animated movie is really good, by the way. But
check it out. You know.
Yeah, well, we can watch whatever, man. I'm
a little movie time.
I know I have never brought up Aquaman as being a character I really like, but I do really like this story arc, like this series, what I've read. I've always wanted to read more of it, to be honest. It is one that I've always wanted to read, like the whole shebang.
Sweet.
But anyway, so this is just when we're chatting, right? Like we don't have to do favorite stuff yet, but there was like specific comments. I love when Mara is on land and she's like, how do you stand these people?
Right.
Like, dude, when she's like, by the way, that's one of my favorite. I love Mara. Mm-hmm. She is one of my favorite female comic book characters, hands down.
Yeah,
no
she's
question.
Awesome.
And she's like the most bad lady wife. Mm-hmm. Like, she is a cool wife.
Are they married?
Yes.
Technically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, dude,
I almost said his wife Mara in my synopsis, but I'm like, I don't know if they're actually married, and I'm not gonna look it up.
As far as fictional wives go, she's probably the number 2, because I mentioned that I really liked the wife character, amazing dynamic in the sequel series to The Mistborn.
Oh, yes. Yes, you did.
That was so good. And so maybe it's just because I have the number 1 wife in my life, and because she's stinking awesome. So when I see fictional wives that I think, man, they're almost as cool as my wife. My wife would be just like that in that situation. That's probably why I like them.
There you go.
She's the standard. So it's however close they get to her is how much I like them.
Like, yep, my wife would also throw a water typhoon at that monster.
My wife would definitely suck. Oh,
you better leave that in there.
I was going to say all the water out of someone's body if they were being crabby to their kid, but I don't. So Mara, we should establish her superpower. Mara uses hydrokinesis, which means she has the ability to control water. So just like how Magneto can control metal, and you see people that can control fire and different things, she controls water. And so with her hydrokinesis, she literally, I used the word sucks, but I mean it would be saps or whatever. Saps all of the water. Well, not all, because he'd be super dead.
Right.
But he starts sapping all of this moisture out of this criminal's body as he's holding a gun to his daughter's head after he'd been charged with murder for killing his wife. And then the daughter, that scene, that was so good, though, because then at the end, it mirrors how she feels about her dad, even though he's a bad guy and wants her husband killed. Mm-hmm. Dude, because, like, you kind of read that issue and you're like, this feels kind of like a filler, but not. Like, dude, because it sets up a backstory. And you know that eventually that character, her father, has to come into play. You know that he's going to be a problem. But basically what you learn is that Mara was taught to spy on Arthur and to be able to learn who he is so she could get close to him and then murder him. And she's like, no, he's a good man. I won't do that.
I'm going to marry him instead.
She's like, he's like the greatest man I've ever met. I'm in love with him. And her dad's like, fine, then you're banished.
You're a traitor.
Yep. And so when this young girl begs her to not kill her dad, who is literally threatening her life, she's like, why? And she's like, because he's still my dad. And then she goes, I don't understand you people. Jumps away, gets to the coast, and is sitting there crying, thinking about her own father and him being like a bad dude.
Yeah.
That was so good. I love that issue. When we decided to read this, that is literally the moment that I remembered. I'm like, I cannot wait to watch Mara sap. I got to make sure I use the right S word. Sap the water out of.
You could say draw as well.
That's true, but I don't know how good of an artist she is.
I appreciate that.
Oh, but yeah, that's a cool moment.
Expunge.
It's like a sponge, right?
Right.
Like very much. But no, her water control stuff is awesome. And I also
That
like
really
how she
is.
can make it take forms. Like she makes it look like her dad in the one part, and then she has it look like a dragon, and then it makes it like look like a mermaid.
Yeah.
And like, dude, that would be a cool power.
Sounds to me
Just
like
a
she's a
waterbender.
really good drawer.
Yeah, right?
A really good artist.
Really, she's just a Green Lantern, but with water.
Right.
Yes.
But no, that opening scene though, I love that. Like that whole segment with the car chase and stuff, police chase, and they're like, well, even the criminals, right?
Yeah.
Laugh at him.
Right.
He's standing in the middle of the road, and they're like, "Who's that?" And he goes, it's Aquaman. And the other criminal's like, run him over.
Which is ridiculous.
Dude. And
But
then
yes.
he's just like, ugh. Picks up an armored car.
That's with an armored truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. That's cool.
That's cool.
But I mean, that's why in Flashpoint he's fighting Wonder Woman. Like, dude, I just feel like there's superpower levels in like the DC universe
Yeah.
that are like some of these heroes are stinking strong.
Sure.
And those two, I would consider them, as far as anybody on Earth, they're probably pretty close under Superman.
Right.
They're going to be people who could trade some punches. But
Oh, you got a left hook to trade? Yes, I got a right.
go fish.
No, I really want to know more about the trench.
Yeah,
It's like a hole in the ground. Isn't
why
it?
are they so technically.
Marianas.
Right. Sure. No, I want to know like really where they came from. 'Cause
What are they?
what are they? Why are they completely and utterly starving? What happened? Yeah.
What their connection is to Atlantis, because they had that. He finds that.
Well, it sounds like
Building.
it crashed, right?
Well, no, so that was
Because they had that.
so the
recording.
technology was before Atlantis
It was
sunk.
ancient.
Sunk,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it was like surface.
So it was
Atlantis.
ancient. So he found it, finally put it in water, and then it displayed that image. And they were talking about it
Which is
sinking
also a
or
thing in the
something. So it
movie.
was right in the end. Yeah.
That's in the movie too. I'd forgotten that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We may want to watch it, right? Like I know we talked about other
You
stuff.
kind of want to watch it. No.
It would be fun because
Yeah.
we might be like, oh, look, that's there
Right.
too. Like, that might be fun. And I'll be going, oh, that part's in the third story.
Oh man, we should have watched it before the podcast. We didn't have the comic and the movie to talk.
Well,
about.
we did actually talk about doing that at one time, I think. But again, this podcast, just for those who may not have listened to the original, the older stuff, maybe you jumped in with the newer ones. But this was created because when you watch the movies, a lot of times you go, what's this based on? What's it like? Like, what's the comic like? And so, knowing, especially now, like for you, Patrick, that now you know that the movie was very much influenced by this comic.
Right.
Like, very much. It's just fun.
But
It's
it
fun
also
to see
kind
those.
of makes me want to read the first 3 and then watch the movie instead of doing it.
Here I
You
was
know what I
thinking
mean?
maybe we'd watch
We
that.
could watch the movie. I'm not saying we can't. I've already seen the movie. It's not like it's going to
Yeah, it's not going to
influence.
spoil anything
right,
for
it's
you,
not gonna
right?
spoil anything for me.
I mean, you
I
haven't
mean,
watched it.
I haven't watched the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, but we're talking about me here, Will. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm talking about me.
I thought we were talking about Aquaman.
Maybe Will is Aquaman.
Dude, that would be a crazy
I mean, as long as I
reveal.
can swim through Bud Light.
Oh, man. But there was another... Oh, the trench. But you were talking about the trench. Their introduction is so scary.
I know, right?
Like, it could have... You could pull them out of this and write, like, a whole horror comic about
Oh,
them.
100%.
They are so scary. So, for those of you who didn't read, it shows these fishermen...
Which, first of all, how dare you?
Yeah, you should. You would have loved it. If you haven't read with us yet, make this the one you do. This is a great entry point.
It
It
is.
is. It is a great entry point.
But second of all, I
modern art.
understand.
The art is really good. I like the, like on the cover, it has his trident pointing down towards the water, and you can actually see the
Reflections
of
yeah.
the trench.
Oh, yeah.
The
Isn't that
piranha
cool?
fishmen.
It's very cool.
But so there are these guys out in a boat, trying to fish, and they're like, "There's not fish anywhere out here," and they're like, "That's weird." And it's because obviously the implication is that the trench have been eating everything in sight.
Because they're starving.
So then one of them gets pulled into the water, and they're like, oh, because then you get like the blood chum
Yep.
coming up to the surface, and they're like, what just happened? And then these huge think anglerfish. If you've ever seen an anglerfish, think of that as a humanoid creature. Basically the face of an anglerfish, but with like the body of a merman.
And no,
Like an old like legend swamp. What's the
swamp thing.
creature of the Black Lagoon?
I think that's just the creature. Yeah.
Right? But like with the face of an anglerfish.
Right. And no antenna or light on
Yeah,
the
no
end of the antenna.
dingly light.
No dangly
I think
thing.
they do glow though, because
They do
took
glow. They
They
have
have
bioluminescence.
bioluminescence.
which is the cause of all their problems. Because the doctor says, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. No, they took one of the dead trench to a marine biologist, and he had said that the bioluminescence would consume a lot of energy, and so that's why they needed to eat a lot,
Right.
which is probably why they were out in the oceans. But it's kind of a weird, I don't know if you'd call it a plot hole, but like there's a lot of fish and stuff to eat in the ocean. Why would they ever have to go on land?
Dude, it's a comic book, okay?
I know that, like, they got to introduce conflict and all that.
Finally, I'm not the one getting yelled at.
But if they just
But
needed
I
food
agree
for
with
the
you.
queen, they would have filled up before ever reaching land.
Dude, you don't know how long they've been going out and eating.
You don't know the trench.
Yeah. Maybe they've
Yeah.
had people bringing food back for a long time.
Baby.
And there, to be fair, there were a lot of them that left.
They
and
were
they
also
were fairly close to shore then.
they were also preserving food too.
That's true.
So
That
they
is
weren't
true.
just eating.
They were
everything.
cocooning people. That's a very horror movie thing too, to like cocoon people.
So
up.
what are the chances that 2 weeks in a row we would have a comic book with a cocoon in it?
Oh, I don't know.
Man, that's probably it. But one has potentially has a warlock in it, and the other one had a dog.
Right.
He was a good boy, though.
He
Had
was
more than just a
Oh,
dog,
we had two comics in a row with like golden retriever style dogs in them.
Yes,
too.
Yeah, we did.
one was smarter than the other.
Well, one is a Russian experiment, and one is just the pet of a deceased owner.
Wasn't it a USSR experiment?
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would have been. Sorry.
it's okay. I don't blame you.
I mean,
You
Just slightly
were.
disappointed.
what, are you a Russian spy, Pat?
No, I'm not that fast.
What?
You're a Russian spy?
It's like that one went right over my head. I was not so fast that I would catch it. Oh, dang it. I was like, what?
But yes,
Good
I
job,
hope
Pat.
I hope the dog makes a comeback.
Aquadog.
Aquadog. I hope they teach him how to swim and he becomes part of
No,
the team.
He doesn't like water. That's
Not
so
yet.
funny. But he might.
I mean, he's a retriever.
I know, right? That's kind of confusing.
Hey.
Most retrievers like water.
Yeah,
love
let's
water.
let's not stereotype, okay?
Well, I did say most.
I know you did.
I love to stereotype.
Which one?
All of them.
Sony?
Man, I
Bose.
Bose.
Bose is pretty good.
It is.
I think Beats by Dr. Dre is a little overrated.
Yeah, me too.
it's not a stereo. I guess it has stereo sound, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, wow.
This is why I get really Patrick looks at work because I don't just do this on the podcast.
Oh, I know.
It's a way of life.
It is a way of life for me.
This is the way.
So anyway,
Anyway.
Somebody's trying to get us back on track.
yeah. Down with the disruptor.
I think the disruptor has corrupted Pat.
A little bit. I might be the disruptor as a sidekick.
What would the
This
name
issue.
of that be? What would be the name of the disruptor sidekick?
If you have an idea for the name of the disruptor sidekick, please email us at longbox@guyswithissues.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trench was super interesting. I don't remember if they come back. I don't remember.
I mean,
But that's okay. We can live it together.
yeah, let's live it together.
Let's live together.
Let's not. I'm really enjoying my alone time.
I bet.
This house
me
isn't
too.
big enough for the two of us.
I know, right? Could you imagine?
Literally.
Literally, this is a small house.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Aquaman.
We were just talking about the Aquaman.
Oh, okay,
comic,
yeah.
Will. Oh, it's one of those, huh?
Yep.
What are we doing? Oh, we're podcasting about a comic book. What comic book? Something about fish sticks.
Oh, yes.
I thought, speaking of the marine biologist, it's interesting that they have a hatred for each other, technically. Right? Like, he didn't want to have to go see him, but he knew that he would be the person to go to. And then once again, he pulled the rug out from under him, took his glory from him.
Well, I just don't understand why somebody would kill Aquaman just because he wouldn't show him Atlantis.
I know, right? That's the
It seems like an overreaction.
complete waste of, like,
I don't
effort.
think you understand what obsession can do to somebody.
I don't. But that being said, you can be really good friends with Aquaman, or you can try to kill him because he won't show you a place.
But if you succeed in killing him,
Then you're still not going to see the
you're
place.
never going to see Atlantis.
So-
And your one shot is just gone.
Dead. D-E-D. Dead.
There was a lot of dead people in this comic.
Sadly, yes.
Yeah,
It was pretty gruesome, actually.
Yeah, several
kinda
moments of
graphic.
it where people got very
Chomped.
eaten.
Very eaten.
And other things that were trying to eat people getting very stabbed.
Yes, but then once they died, they got eaten as well.
They also got eaten by their own hungry people.
Which really makes you wonder
Yeah.
where they came from and what happened.
I mean, when he went
Because
down,
wasn't it a ship or something in the trench?
I don't know. Did they say it was a ship?
I thought
looked
they
like
said
a
it.
structure
I thought
or
they said it
something.
was a ship. I thought.
But I
they
thought
said
it was a
some
ship,
kind of
yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
they
not.
did.
I don't know.
I thought it was a ship.
Well, you want everything to be a ship.
I really do. I mean, what is so wrong with that?
Nothing. I didn't say
Everything.
it was wrong. Everything. Dude, and what kind of you know the kind of person that would try to kill Aquaman for not telling them where Atlantis is? The same kind of person that would grope a stranger in the grocery store.
That was just wrong.
Dude, like
Yeah.
I understand that you were supposed to be like, that guy's a slime ball.
I mean, he was.
But like, maybe it's because we're so far removed from being that kind of person. But like, would anybody really do that?
Yes.
Probably.
You think so?
Oh, 100%.
in a like knowing that some,
Yeah.
Get some super.
especially since it's a famous person. You think that happens to famous people? Like people just want to touch them
Probably, yeah.
to be able to be like,
would
hey,
say
I
yes,
grabbed
yeah.
so and so's butt or something like that.
All right.
Dude, when she's like, take your hand off me, and he didn't do it, and she broke his arm.
That was great.
Oh, man. And then any woman who's ever been through that, reading that, would be like, I got to learn how to do that.
Right.
Time for some jujitsu classes.
And then the cops are like, I like how she fooled them
Right.
by giving up so that she could go bring the whoop down on that girl's dad.
But I mean, do cops do that? I just don't know. Like if
Go
you
to somewhere
detain somebody and then go somewhere else.
If you have to
crime
be
in
somewhere
process?
else and you're at a crime in process, you can either, depending on the severity of the crime, like I know somebody that had been pulled over and then the officer got a call and he let them go because he had to go to like an
Right.
emergency. But with something like that where somebody's actually been assaulted and they're like, hey, we're arresting you, then if the person gets in the back, I mean, they would I would imagine go to another crime.
Yeah, I don't
if
know.
It was like a dire situation. I think that is something that would happen.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's unlikely, but I just didn't know.
It's probably unlikely to occur, or if there were more than one squad car available.
It was a small
Yeah.
town, though. So
It was a very small
Yeah,
town, so I would
that would make
imagine,
sense. Yeah.
because it's like a New England coastal town, and it's just a small kind of fishing
Right.
town. And so my imagination would tell me that they didn't have another car available.
Probably.
Like those two were riding together, and they were like, okay, put her in the back.
Yep.
But I like that she fools them.
Right.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Fooled them. Pulled one over on them.
Tricked.
She does not like to be called Aquawoman. That's for sure.
Oh, dude. They're like, Aquaman, and she's like, you mean Arthur? She doesn't even like that people call him Aquaman all the time.
Right?
Yeah. So, we got anything else to chat about? We could just talk about the whole story. We basically have talked about almost the whole thing. Other than like
Pretty
when they go down and infiltrate the Queen's hive, steal all the people back, and Aquaman. I like that Aquaman's like, I want to understand them.
Yeah.
Like she's like, just kill them.
Yeah, I feel like
And he's like, no. He's like, what if we can help them?
I connected a little more with Aquaman when that happened.
Yeah. Felt like I connected with Mara. Just bury him. No, I'm just kidding.
Because
I'm
he had
joking.
to in the end anyway.
Yeah, literally sealed the trench.
Not with a seal, with a rock.
No, that would be a big seal. Didn't they say
Like a
they sound
lion?
like sea lions? Wasn't that a lion?
I think they
I think they said that.
did.
Yeah, because I kept
wondering.
wondering what that rock sound was supposed to be, and then somebody said that they sound like sea lions.
To
And
be
I was
honest, I read this morning right after I woke up, so
I know.
my brain probably wasn't fully processing everything.
it's okay. But
Then
Right.
again, it doesn't really matter how long I'm awake.
It
My
doesn't.
brain never really processes everything.
that I don't believe that. I don't believe you. yeah,
Ha.
got him. But I really don't. So I was being serious. So favorite part? You have a favorite part
I like it when they rescued the dog.
out of the cocoon?
Yeah. And then they gave the dog to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
that
how
part.
the lady at the grocery store then brought
Yeah,
her
bought the
everything
dog
she
food.
needed.
Yeah, that was
And she's
great.
like, when you need more, just tell me. I'll bring you more.
I mean, they could have just went and got, but anyway,
But she's saying thank you.
I know she is.
And she knows that the town gives them a bunch of crap. She's trying to be friendly.
Yes.
Her
And I
exact
like it.
thing was, I want you to know not all of us are bad.
Not all humans suck.
Yes. Literally what she told that we don't all suck.
Not all humans seep. Well, we do, actually.
What?
When you sweat.
Stop. Well, although that does go back to her just pulling all of the liquid out of that
that's
guy.
what I'm saying.
Now you feel like you've gone without any water for 3 days.
Yeah,
Dude.
that had to be bad.
Dude, she's literally like, your body is seizing up. Like, dude,
How-
the fact she knows what happens, ooh, that's scary. She's,
How
she's
much
kinda
experimentation has she
Dude,
done?
she's kind of scary.
Definitely raised by a villain.
Or she just read science books.
Or maybe she went 3 days without drinking water.
I mean, she lived in water. That
Well,
would be.
she would
Can
also.
you-
So
how-
okay, all right. Hold on. First, I'm going to take care of. Or I'm going to talk about what you said about the science books. So you're saying in Atlantis they have people with that same power, and they've done.
Either that, or she read
Experiments.
human anatomy books.
Well, that doesn't mean she would know
She would know the effects of dehydration.
on human anatomy when she's been in Atlantis the whole time.
Yeah.
Why?
You don't think? Well, you think that just because
Uh-oh. We got a fight brewing.
you think that just because you're a different person or in a different location that you wouldn't have access or have the interest, you wouldn't have anybody who'd have the interest in knowing what other people types or potential enemy groups may have weaknesses or aversions to. You wouldn't know the anatomy of your enemy if it was different than yours.
Well, maybe.
How many alien movies do a dissection scene, man?
Sure, but
Okay, so why, if the Atlanteans are humanoid, would they not know the effects of dehydration? Maybe they experience it on an accelerated rate if they are completely used to being in Atlantis. In the one scene where they show, did they show a scene of an Atlantean's like mask being broken? Was that in this?
I don't remember.
yes.
Yes.
Right? Because then it was like liquid behind it, and they went, oh, Atlantean.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so if they feel like they have to, certain ones, because Aquaman is half Atlantean.
Right.
We need to acknowledge that. And so if she was also trying to learn everything about him, maybe she did learn human anatomy. Maybe it's because he's half human. I'm just saying, I guarantee you they have resources. They have a library. I'm sure they have encyclopedias.
They might even have Google. Who knows?
They may have Wi-Fi for all we know. Their technology could be very advanced.
Okay, I forget what I was going to say.
You were going to tell me why it is silly for Atlanteans to know human anatomy.
No,
I thought we were having an argument.
it's a bit silly though that they know exactly how much water that they would use per day.
Maybe when they go to land, they have to do research. Maybe they have to know the effects of it.
And they were trying to stay away from the humans for all that time.
I mean, they definitely try to stay away from humans. Clearly. What's your other thing?
What did you say?
What did you say?
Oh,
He said science books.
I haven't said much this entire time.
No, but you said something right after he said science books.
Did I?
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
he said the word seep, and he was talking about sweating, and I was talking about that, and then I said the effects of dehydration.
I mean, it's got to be general because, you know, if it's a hot, dry climate, it's going to be different than not.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, anyway.
What the heck did you say, Will?
What did I say?
don't
Let's
remember.
play it back.
Dude, we could literally rewind and
That's not. No, you went way too hard on that argument. I was just like, all right, I give up.
Yeah, he went on for quite a while.
He
Didn't
did. He really did.
He defended it. It was his hill to die on.
It really was.
Atlantis definitely has human anatomy
Atlantis
studies.
definitely does horrible
They've
things to people.
dissected a human, and they've done dehydration tests on them,
Yes.
Right.
as one does against its enemies.
It's fair.
Anyway, we were talking about favorite scenes, though. And you said the dog, and then Will was going to say his favorite scene.
My favorite scene would have to be when they rescue the little boy, and he's like, Aquaman, you're my favorite superhero, because we
Yeah,
all
that
know
was good.
that boy's probably lying.
Did you think that at all?
I did not.
You are
No.
a terrible person.
I am a terrible person.
I didn't think that either. I was just like, oh, that's cute writing. I like
figured
that.
he
Brought it
probably
full
was
circle.
his favorite because he actually saved him.
Right, yeah. I thought that too immediately, and then I'm like, he's probably just saying that to make Aquaman feel better.
Maybe.
Wow.
But just to keep making fun of Aquaman. That's why I said it.
Carrying that torch. That
Gotta keep it going.
Aquaman's the butt of the jokes torch.
Carrying his butt torch.
No. Nope. Not doing
There is no such thing.
there. We are not going to ask there is no butt George. Okay.
There's a butt shovel, but
Well, we've established that. That's an established item.
So, yeah, anyway.
My favorite scene. It's hard to pick one because I love I really enjoy this whole thing.
Yeah, it was
I
good.
do too. That's why it was just like I couldn't really.
Because I'll tell you a scene that I thought was really cool was when he decides that they're not going back to Atlantis and they're just going to be on the surface and do that stuff. Mm-hmm. And she immediately is just like, okay, I want to learn about this. Oh, you went skiing as a kid? That looks terrible. I'll go skiing. Yeah, and again, awesome wife.
You're on
awesome
sticks.
Wife.
You're on sticks on frozen water. Like, why would you
terrible.
do that?
I want to. When am I going to try it? He's like, why would you want to do that? Because you did it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good scene. I'm going to say, pretty much. Let's just say that whole issue with Mara. Because part of me, when I finished reading it, was like, why do I always think back of that being like my favorite issue of the first arc? Because when I reread it, I thought, I don't think that was my favorite issue of the first arc. But there's something about that symmetry with the thing with her dad and her interactions with the people on land and being just a huge fan of Mara anyway. Like I said, she's one of my favorite fictional ladies. So I'm just gonna say my favorite scene's her story part and how scary she is when she's. Did you notice they did the whole anime totally shadow her face when she goes to
Oh, yeah.
She's like, let the girl go and put the gun down, and her face is black shadowed.
Right.
Dude, she's so scary, but she's cool. But yeah. Yeah. So I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say that because that's
scary.
the one that stood with me the first time.
She's scary for all the right reasons.
Yes. Yep. But.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Favorite character. You gonna say the dog?
I thought about it, but no. It's a toss-up between Aquaman and Mira. Between Arthur and Mira.
I mean, they're excellent characters.
They are.
They are.
It really is a toss-up, and I don't think I can choose between them.
So you picked a couple.
I did.
Oh.
Hey.
I mean, what other characters are there to really choose from?
You have the
dog.
Trench King. You got you have the sheriff. You have the
deputy that impersonated the sheriff.
that impersonated being the sheriff. He's not the sheriff. He's just a deputy.
He's a pretty cool guy, though.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
He's because you know what, I will say it's the deputy that impersonated the sheriff because that guy.
Move your mic up. Thank you.
That guy.
Much better.
That was better.
Was persistent. He went through lighthouse to lighthouse because he knew Arthur Curry was in a lighthouse at somewhere. He's like, yeah, I just kept going. And then I thought, how many lighthouses are there?
He also trusted Aquaman to be a good hero.
Yeah, he knew. He was like, we need Aquaman.
Yeah. He was like, I know what you can actually do. We need your help.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Again, maybe his favorite hero.
Maybe.
Maybe he was. And he wasn't just saying that.
Maybe.
So I'm going to pick the robber that laughed it out. No, I'm just kidding. The guy in the armored car. I feel like at this point I have to pick Mara because I've been talking about how much I like her. After I read this and more of the series, I almost bought a statue of her one time that was really cool because I only own a handful of statues. Actually, it would be a couple handfuls, but
because they're big statues.
Because they're big enough that you can only hold one or two in your hand.
There you go.
But I have a couple of smaller Batman ones, and then I have one that my wife gave me that's Black Canary as a lounge singer. That's the bombshell one. And I was so disappointed when so they did a contest where they were doing Mara's statue design for the DC Bombshell line, which isn't my favorite line of anything. Although they've done a couple of really cool ones, they've started incorporating some of the guys too, and that they do with some really neat styling. But the thing is, they had Mara, and she had instead of having her full bodysuit, it was like a top, like a vest, and she had sailor pants on and the trident, and she was like saluting. And it was like such a fun one. And then there was one where she had like a green swimsuit where the wind's blowing like a sun hat and she's grabbing it. And that's the one that got picked. But nobody I spoke to who voted for that. Every single one picked the sailor. I think it was rigged. I don't think people actually voted for that sun hat one. I think people, and then later when they released like magnets, they released ones with like the sailor design and stuff. So I'm like, something's up. But anyway, I almost
smells fishy.
but I would have bought that Mara statue because she is one of my favorites. I think she's a great character.
Yeah.
Awesome companion for Arthur. Also very much her own character that's super cool and interesting, powerful. I love her. She's a great character.
I agree.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Did you have a least favorite scene?
I mean,
You hate bullying. Did you hate when everybody was making fun of Aquaman?
a little bit, actually.
I actually wondered,
Yeah.
like legitimately, when I was reading it, I was like, I wonder if Pat's getting bully vibes.
I mean,
off of this.
there's one thing to think somebody is, not up to a task or something, but there's another thing to say it when they're around
Which they did all the time.
all the time, which was kind of a jerk move.
I love when the FBI is there and they are going to keep that trench body, and he just takes it. They're like, "That's the property of the government," and he just leaves.
Yeah, but no, I think it was the whole thing in the store with Mira.
Oh, because he's such a sleaze
Yeah,
bag.
yeah, I mean, really,
Dude, it felt sleazy.
it did.
And the way he was treating his employee before that,
Yeah,
I'm
you know
literally
that's
watching
bad.
it going, oh my gosh, I hate this. I
Yeah.
did. I hated that.
I did not like that scene.
Mine would have to be probably with the marine biologist,
Shen.
when they go and revisit him with the body. Because it's like he's never changed. He's still the same idiot that tried to kill Arthur for not.
I mean, that
You
is
know.
so dumb.
I know, right? Like counterintuitive, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of a weird scene.
Unless you wanted to
I
do
know.
like an autopsy or something on him and write a paper.
True. Yeah.
But that's
But it's
still
funny
not
'cause
going
they
to get
kinda
into Atlantis.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
Oh,
I get it.
yeah.
I'll say the supermarket scene. Same thing. It's just grody vibes.
Right, grody vibes.
But it's not like a bad scene, but it's my least favorite scene, I guess. Like where yours was actually like, you're like, I just didn't
Yeah,
like that
it's
scene. It,
yeah.
again, written to be grody, right? So it's like that whole dislike a bad guy because he's such a good bad guy or whatever. So it'd be more akin to that.
right.
Not that I truly disliked any specific scene that I can think of. I also read this in a couple different segments. And some were like more focused than others, and some were on a tablet, some were on my phone. But anyway, so sometimes that affects my viewing, but I can't think back to anything that I would say I didn't like that. I didn't like that part, but that issue, that is the part of the issue that I'm like, oh, they just linger that moment in that store so long. I feel like it's like several pages.
Yeah.
So, and he's like, "You're hot," and you're just like, dude, that is so like. I mean, I'm sure there are people that they would probably see famous people and immediately just be like, "You're so hot." I bet that happens.
I'm sure it does.
I bet it
Probably.
does. Even though you'd think people would have more tact than that, but we know that that's not true. There's
I mean,
plenty of
people
people.
tell me that all the time.
I know, and just strangers. I've been out in public with you, man. It's ridiculous.
The amount of times he gets groped and people just stroke that beard.
Really glad you said beard.
That was true.
So if that was the case, is your least favorite character that guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's going to be pretty predictable because mine would be Shen.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like a worthless character.
You know, if I had to say a character that I didn't like,
The dog.
Mira's father.
yeah, right. He wanted to kill him. No, it was that guy.
If you say the dog,
There's a lot of guys.
there is a lot of guys.
It was the guy in the restaurant that sat down in his booth.
Oh, the guy who's trying to interview him because he has a
Yes.
blog or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that
I
scumbag.
was like, dude. And then he ends with these, like, what makes Arthur mad and leave the restaurant was him being like, what's it like to be nobody's favorite superhero?
I know, right?
Which is why there's symmetry, because that's in the first issue. And then the kid tells him that he's his favorite in the
was
final issue.
a joke.
You're a joke. No, I'm just, ow,
That
hurts.
hurts.
I knew. Will doesn't actually ever have his feelings hurt.
I don't have feelings.
Well, I'd have to almost think Aquaman doesn't either with what he can tolerate.
I think I could probably tolerate it,
Man.
pretty well.
But
it's-
anyway, no, that guy, he was just like, do you know how annoying that would be in real life? If a dude just sits down and starts like being like that.
yeah,
That
no,
dude.
Oh, yeah.
that also happens.
That
I'm sure.
Oh, that I guarantee you.
Oh, like-
but dude, and even I don't
Especially
know.
because he's like,
I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
have a blog. He's not like, oh, I'm a
You mean-
reporter.
Are you talking about the same way that we talked about going to like Will White and being like,
Mr. White,
Yeah.
would you be interested in being on our podcast?
Exactly.
Well, there's a difference between saying, would you be interested in being on a podcast, and hey, what what are your feelings on being nobody likes you?
well, we
It's not
could-
like we were recording the podcast. We walk up to him and be like, hey, you're on our podcast.
that's
What do you
a
think
good
about this?
idea. That's how
not
we
a
get
good
him.
idea. I'm not even joking about that. That is not a good idea.
I'm gonna cut that out too.
Well, you better cut that out.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, you mean like
Just
knock
cut
off.
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up. So,
Yeah, that.
okay.
Anyway,
Did you? Okay, so we went through everything. That was it then, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Oh,
bring
you're-
up. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no, never mind.
I'm pretty sure those were Spanish doubloons that he gave her.
were they?
Gold Spanish. I looked it up
Could be.
because that's what it kind of looked like. But if they were, it's kind of a cheapskate. Because like a pristine real gold Spanish doubloon only goes for like $4,000. So you ain't putting no kids through college. on
No.
it. Maybe community college. You get one kid through, maybe with two of them.
Online classes, maybe.
But I was like, $8,000. I ain't putting nobody through college. I think what he was saying is put it towards it. But I think the joke is that they're worth a lot,
Right.
and he just gave her a whole bunch of money. But I did look it up, and I was like, that wasn't that much. I mean, like, yeah, an $8,000 tip to a waitress is a lot of money, but at least on my income. So
On
maybe
mine too.
Maybe not for some people, but for this guy sitting in this chair, yep. But
I mean, I could take it or leave it. But
we know. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
to share that. So, are we gonna rate it out of fish sticks?
yes.
I mean, we have to at this point, don't we?
How many fish sticks would you give this aqua? That's so dumb. Okay, Pat, how many fish sticks?
How many fish sticks? 5 fish sticks.
I was going to say, if it's not a 5, I don't
Yeah.
believe you, because I imagine this would easily be something you would suggest to people.
Oh, 100%. This was
It's-
amazing and great.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also going to give it a 5.
Oh, shoot. Well, I really debated if I should give it a 5, because I feel like I'm the one that probably gives 5s the most often. I bet on average, if we added it up, it would be me.
So you
I'm
decided
gonna
to give
give
it
it
a
a
6
5.
instead?
I'll give it
No.
6 fish sticks, because I'm hungry.
Oh, man.
Fish sticks with applesauce.
And peanut
5
butter.
fish sticks and a side of
I don't know if
applesauce.
peanut butter would be good with fish.
I mean, peanut butter and
I would
apples
give it a
is
try.
good.
You really, we'll just get a jar of peanut butter and get a whole bunch of random food. Okay, cool. Another all 5. So obviously, we already know that we want to read more of this. And just because we don't give something a solid 5 doesn't mean we won't read more of this on our own. But this at least gives us a gauge as what might be fun to talk about to each other on the podcast, though.
Yeah.
You mean it's not okay to talk to Aquaman?
Not like that blogger.
and not if you're a fish.
Ooh, yeah.
So
Stick.
fish stick. Fish sticks. But I'm glad you guys liked it. This is one that I put on the list, I think, a while back, or at least even if I hadn't put it on, it was one I thought of when we were talking about this, because I remembered it being really good and thought it would be a fun read.
Yeah. It's great.
And I remember when I read it, like I shared, just thinking how good it was, but that it really shot Aquaman up my list of like, oh, I would read this hero.
Yeah.
Like it definitely put him pretty high up on that list. So something I've considered reading. There's actually an Aquaman run that predates this one that my favorite comic artist, Patrick Gleason, did the art for. It's got some cool panels I've seen, some splash panels.
Nice.
Get it?
Splash
Aquaman,
panels.
water,
But
splash.
I mean, they are splash pages, but no, it's that's one that I think I have it in my reading list because I want to check it out sometime, and because when Aquaman's written well, he can be fun to read.
Yeah.
Obviously, right?
Yeah, we all had a pretty good time.
Yeah, and I think having Mara and the dynamic you get with them adds quite a bit.
Yeah,
I
especially
agree.
because they make her own character, not just like a accent piece.
Not just
to-
like a babe.
Yeah, not just
Yeah,
like
just
a
like
piece
babe
of
on his arm.
Aquaman.
Right.
She's like
a
her own.
lady. Yeah,
Her own. She's her own independent woman.
but like actually written well.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like the way that Hollywood tries to write a lot of them now. Like this because even like her Hollywood counterpart might have a little bit of this, but the movie Mara, it doesn't even touch this.
No, not at all.
But and I was so excited when I was like, oh, Mara's gonna be in the movie, and then you see it and you're like, she was okay. But she was also a terrible actress to work with, according to Jason Momoa. And with everything that happened to her later, court cases and all, I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the one negative of the movie is that the Mara you get is not the Mara you deserve.
Correct.
So who
But-
do we think would be a good Mara in the movies?
Oh, so no. I'm out
Patrick
of this conversation.
doesn't even know names at all of people. You know who'd be a great Mara? If you take Kate Blanchett the way she was as Hela in Ragnarok
Yeah,
and have her play Mara.
there you go.
I think she could be a good Mara. But
Probably.
could Kate Blanchett be not good in something?
I mean, she could try.
I'm a big fan of Emma Stone, but I don't know if that's the right character type for her.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
She was a great
to,
Gwen Stacy.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say an actor can be bad in something because they're an actor and they can act bad if they
Intentional?
intentional. Yes.
Oh, well, yeah.
So yes, the answer to that question.
But there are like bad movies with actors who are very good in the movie, even though the movie is bad.
Right, but that wasn't the question.
No, but come on, man. Fine, I'll let you have it because I argued my science thing too long. Anyway, you guys have anything else?
Nope.
Are we good?
We're good.
All right, fish sticks.
And custard.
Well, I guess I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Issues and Without Fish Sticks. We're Guys Without Fish Sticks.
Or custard or pie.
And
That's it.
Those are 3 of our issues. You can catch the new issue of Guys with Issues each week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists, follow along, and get to know us better. You can also find us on Instagram at guys_with_issues and on Facebook at Guys with Issues. Send us emails to longbox at guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts. Or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listener. None of that was true.
But you didn't have to say that. You just chop that part out. People think Pat's the stud.
I'm just going to cut the word none out. That was true.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you
I
go.
should do that. That would
Yeah.
be funny.
You have to cut of out as well.
Yes, thank you. I know.
Oh yeah, grammar Nazi over here.
I would say. I mean,
Okay. Anyway,
sorry,
did
I
you
take
have a
things
least favorite?
literally.